Hi friends, my name is Emily, this is Lucy, and welcome to the Wish You Were Here monthly newsletter for June 2024 edition. I am so excited, I'm so giddy if you cannot tell, to be coming to you live from my apartment in Austin, Texas. This is the newsletter that I've been a little looking forward to, but also a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious as well, right, for June, for so many reasons, okay? June is a very special month for me. It holds a very special place in my heart. And this June newsletter, I feel like I already want to start this video over again, but we're just going to go with it, okay? There's a couple things that I want to talk about in this June newsletter. And the first one is going to be the offer that I am doing a home life photo session giveaway in honor of my 3-year anniversary of selling my house in Houston. If you have been following me for a while, you know that in 2016, when I was 24 years old, I made a childhood dream come true, and which was to purchase a house. I lived in that house for 5 really wonderful years, and in June of 2021, I sold my house in Houston in pursuit to expand my photography business across Texas and across the United States, and start an adventure of my own. And so what I would also like to do is 2 main things. Obviously, we're going to talk more about the June offer, and number 2, I wanted to talk about a little bit about like where I've been these past 3 years, because this space, again, we just moved in a couple of weeks ago. We're so excited. It's also very early in the morning. It is still Saturday, June 1st, 2024, by the way. Really getting in there before 11/11, our launch. So, long story short, okay. The offer is particularly for anyone in the Austin area. You have to be a resident of Austin to enter for the photo session giveaway. And I'm going to show you a little bit behind the scenes on my computer of what I'm talking about. Because homeownership has a very special place to my heart, and I'm so excited that I get to be coming to you live from a space that I get to call my own again, and we'll talk about that more, because you're probably thinking to yourself, Emily, what are you talking about, like a space of your own? Where have you been for the past 3 years, okay? So when you click on the application, because you just have to answer a couple of quick questions, you're gonna see an example of photos that I actually took from my house right before I had sold it. And so these are just special and meaningful places around my house. But if you, like, again, these are just for detail ones, but if you're wanting, like, for example, a couple's photo session, or maybe it's just you and you want a photo session in your house, that's also a possibility as well. I, for the photo's sake, just wanted to share the photos of my house, because those were really meaningful places in my house to me, and I love that I was able to take detailed photos of it, and really make it an editorial piece in a way that I'm going to be printing those and hanging them in my house now too. I digress, okay? Now moving on to this part, which I'm a little bit nervous about, which is kind of sharing with the internet about where I've been for the past 3 years, which, again, I'm trying to do this in one take, and so just bear with me, because I took a couple notes, okay? In a sense that these past 3 years, I am so grateful for, because even though they have been challenging, to say the least, they also brought me to this exact point. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And I know that all of the experiences that I had in these past 3 years are all leading me up to this point right now. And so to go off of that, when I sold my house, I had this dream of building an elopement photography business, and I wanted to travel across the country photographing elopements. And I had this really big dream of getting a van, and I was going to deck it out, and we and Lucy, by we, I mean me and Lucy, we were going to travel, okay? Now, the only downside to that was that you do need, like, capital. You need cash flow when you are doing all these things, right? Because you have to buy the things to build it, and so on and so forth. And when I sold my house, I used that money to pay off my student loans. So I was kind of starting from scratch again. So I for a little while scrapped the idea of van life, and my family was really supportive of me, and they told me that I could move back in with them and save money as much as I possibly can and use them as a support system as I build my business. So that brings me to a majority of these past 3 years, I have been living with family. I have either been living with my parents, or I was living with one of my sisters, and or for the other times I was like working in different parts of the country. So to bring it back, okay, because again, going back to June, this is it's a really special milestone for me. You know I love celebrating anniversaries and milestones. And it was just a really big one because in June, right, 2021, right when I sold my house, I got to live in Austin for the entire month of June. It was really important for me that when I immediately sold my house and I made that decision, it was really important for me to like get all of my belongings out of there and like clear the house and just get out there as quickly as possible. And I had this goal on June 1st. I wanted to wake up in Austin, Texas, and I got to do exactly that. And so it's just really hitting home for me that it is June 1st, 3 years later, and now I officially have a residence here. Okay, so going back to that, right? June 2021, first month, I was living in Austin, okay? The following 3 months, so July, August, September, one of my sisters at the time had a little like 1-bedroom condo at a lake house. And so she told me that I could go stay there at the lake house for those couple months and kind of just let myself reset because there's a lot also going on in personal relationships that I'm not going to get into for this video for right now, but essentially it was go take your time and heal a little bit. Heal your little broken heart, girly pop. Okay, so July, August, September, I was at a lake house. Okay, and then October of 2021, I became the owner of a casita travel trailer, and I went back home, and I learned home as in my parents' house, and I learned everything that I possibly could about that travel trailer, the electric system, the gas system, the water system, how to tow it, and all of those essentials that you need for it. And so then in November, the following month, I took it out on its maiden voyage. I took it out twice, and Lucy did not travel well with it. She got really, really sick, had to bring her to the vet ER both times. And essentially they had told me that because it had been such a stressful time period, like the past 6 months, she had also experienced so many changes of selling the house and losing a significant person in her life that she saw every day for 5 years. And so she wasn't taking the move that well. And so essentially they were like, maybe you should not travel right now. So essentially I was grounded, not grounded in that sense, but like stationary at my parents' house. And so we stayed there. We stayed there for 18 months. We stayed there from December 2021 up until May of 2023. And so that full year of 2022, that was a really significant year as well for a lot of different reasons, but mainly because 2022 was the year that I really built my business as a second shooter, and I really got a majority of my experience from photographing weddings. And how I did that was, as a side note, October of 2021, while I was also learning everything about my casita, I had created a landing page on my website, emilywisch.com/assistant, which I'll show it to you right now. And it's been updated, obviously, right? So this wasn't what it would look like 3 years ago. But essentially, I made this landing page so that it had all of my stats, right? It's got my stats, it's got my equipment, my experience, my rates. It's got examples of my portfolio work. I don't know if you can see this. Examples of my portfolio work, behind the scenes of other photographers that I've worked with, full galleries, and just like little bit of information about me, right? And so, again, this page didn't look like this 3 years ago. I was also on Squarespace at the time when I had built my website, but I digress. That's a different story. for a different day. But I made this landing page because I was cold emailing photographers that I had found either through Google or through Instagram and social media, and I was emailing them, predominantly Texas photographers, saying, "Hi, my name is Emily. I am looking," it's been a little while. "Hi, my name is Emily. I think your work is really great. If you are looking to add a second shooter to your team, I've created a resume style landing page here. If you get a moment to look at it and think that we would be a good fit, I would love to chat further about working with you. Hope you have a great day. Cheers, Emily." And I sent that out. So that's important to the story because in 2022, I completely booked out my year with second shooting jobs. And then I had a couple of my own weddings as well. But that really set me up for that entire year. And I was able to financially remain independent. And I was able to maintain my business. Also in the year of 2022, I created my photo book, which is a good book. I created my photo book from Big Bend National Park, which this is, oh, here it is. I was about to say, I was like, that was the prototype. Oh wait, hold on. Silly goose. I had originally made this one. I had launched this one, the hardcover one, and launched the hardcover one in August of 2022, and then in the fall of 2023, I released the paperback. But for this one, you need to know 2022 is when I launched my nature photo book, okay? And that was also a big help because of my casita travel trailer, and I was able to camp so much, and so I was really able to get back with nature. Okay, sounds so silly, but it is what it is. Other things that happened, learned how to roller skate, okay? Got myself a pair of roller skates. They're over here. Also picked up my piano, played piano a little bit more. Also dibble-dabbled into watercoloring, okay? So 2022 was a really healing year for me. I also got to go to Zion National Park and help photograph an elopement. And I got to go to Big Bend National Park. So that, again, that was just so much fun. So 2022 was a really great year. And I got to see some of my favorite artists in concert as well. Alicia Keys, John Mayer. 2022 was a good year, okay? Moving into 2023, okay? The beginning of 2023 was really rough. It was really rough. I didn't want to second shoot as much, and I was exploring different options for how to make income for my photography business. In a sense that I had gotten offered a job in Massachusetts to photograph, and so until May, right? So hold on. This is where the timeline gets a little crazy. June, I got to go to Massachusetts and I got to work there for a month. And then July, I got the opportunity to stay in New York City, and I was house sitting for a friend. And so those 2 months were also really pivotal as well because I didn't have Lucy. My parents were very supportive and watched her while I was gone for those 2 months. And it was also just really pivotal for me. I got to drive my 4Runner cross country. That was wild. That was a 30-hour road trip in 2 days that I split up into like 15-hour days, and I just slept in my car. That was pretty wild. But yeah, that was the summer of 2023. When I got back in August, I ended up selling my casita travel trailer. I realized that it was really fun and it was like a nostalgic piece to have, but I wasn't using it to the fullest extent, and especially living in Texas, it's so hot, and so the way that I wanted to use the casita travel trailer, I just was kind of inhibited in a way. So I sold it, and I decided to liquidate that asset and then pay off some debt that I had started accruing from investing in my business in 2023. 2023, I invested a lot of personal money into my business, which that's really important for a part of the timeline as well. August 2023, when I come back, right, and I sell my casita, instead of moving back in with my parents, one of my sisters, she goes, "Hey, why don't you come live with us for a little bit? That's going to be so much fun." So I did, and I lived with one of my sisters for 6 months. And in that 6 months time, this was a really big milestone in my personal and my business as well. On 11/1, so 1/1/1, right, November 1st, at 11:11 a.m., I launched this newsletter, okay, the first edition of this newsletter. Having this newsletter was a dream of mine ever since I was having a kid, which ironically enough, that little table was a table that I used growing up literally as a child, and I would draw on that, I would write stories, so that also was just a really full circle moment. But also on 11/11 in November at 11:11 a.m., I launched my web design business. When I was in Fort Worth, I got a really great opportunity to reflect on how I could use that assistant page, right? Because it all connects. How I could use the ability to create websites, right? My ability to create websites, which I didn't also say in March of 2022. I switched my website over to Show It, and I redesigned my entire website. That was an important key as well. And October 2021, I also redid it on Squarespace. These are just like minute little details. Anyways, I go back to it. This time in Fort Worth, those 6 months in the fall and like the very early of this year, January, February, it was really spent on how I could use my experience for weddings and photography, customer service, and building websites. And so that's when in November I launched my web design business, Make a Wish Co. if you are interested in it for it. And then came back in February, back to Somerville because I was photographing so many weddings. I was getting so many jobs in Austin that it really didn't make sense for me to drive those 3 hours back and forth to Fort Worth. It made more sense to me to live with my parents, which they lived right in between Austin and Houston, which that's something else to note. I should have said for 2022 is that because I lived with my parents, I also had this great opportunity to travel to Houston and Austin, and it was a relatively short commute. It was like an hour and a half to each. So that's how I was also able to like maintain my business in Houston after I moved, after I sold my house, and then also how I was able to expand to Houston. And then going up to Fort Worth, I was able to expand last fall to like Dallas and Fort Worth area. So moving back to now this spring, right, of February, I moved back in with my parents, and at this point I was traveling so much back and forth to Austin that I was paying the same amount in gas every month that I would in rent. And so I decided in April to start looking for apartments. I had also started associate shooting with a company up in Dallas in the fall that led to a really great opportunity here in Austin and then also in Houston. And so I decided to move. I decided to move here, and that's a little bit about where I've been these past 3 years. I know that was a lot of information, but really the intentions behind this is to document this for myself, because this is a really important chapter in my life, and I want to be able to look back on my own art that I create, my own videos that I create, and have memories with myself. B, I think it's important to show the downfalls as they may look at it, right? As well as like the wins, because there were a lot of parts, like I'm going to be honest with you, and it makes me a little bit emotional. These past 3 years have not been easy. Like these past 3 years have been really challenging in a way. And I say that with like the smallest grain of salt because of the state of the world right now, which it's 2024. So if you know the state of the world right now, okay, this is the farthest thing away from I don't want to downsize it either, okay? But it's just important for me to share these experiences because I know that there's someone else out there who may be going through a similar situation and maybe they don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm hoping that this video finds them, and I'm hoping that my newsletter finds them, and I'm hoping that my business finds them, and my little corner of the internet that I've built here, and I hope that it just brings them peace and joy. So, other couple reminders, little housekeeping, right? We talked about the June photo session giveaway, okay? And then we talked about this 3 years update. We've talked about for the newsletter when you scroll through it, which I'll bring it to you, okay? We still have to update a couple of things on it, like this thumbnail here. So when you click on it, okay, you'll see a cover letter, a little intro. This will be the YouTube video that you're watching now. This is the home life photo session giveaway and a little bit of information here. You can apply here to win. And then we've got some June's favorites. So we've got the book, which is, we'll talk about in just 1 second. I'll show you. Actually, we'll just do it. It's so cute. Okay. It's a Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care. Okay, this is such a cute little book. I love to keep it on hand. A lot of my books that I read are really dense and they're just really, you gotta lose, like, I don't know, it's a lot of brain power and like heart emotion behind it. But this is just such a fun little book because it's got like self-affirmations and just like little ways to take care of yourself. And it's nice and easy and digestible and something that you can pick up, flip for a couple of pages and just feel better about yourself. The next thing is for music. I did my top 10 favorite songs for June of 2024, linked to my newsletter Spotify playlist. Family recipe. This was actually mine that I had made because, as you may know, again, we've only lived here for 2 weeks. We just moved. And so I haven't really had the opportunity yet to go full grocery shopping, which isn't that such a amazing opportunity that I get to say that I still get to go grocery shopping, right? Right, because again, given the status of the world right now. But the fact is that I had very still limited ingredients, and so my first dinner that I made here for myself was a baked potato with turkey bacon. And so, and to pay homage to that, because I only had a potato, some bacon, and garlic seasoning and butter, and so that's what I made for dinner. So in homage of my mom and my mom, who at times also had to spread dinner thin to feed everyone, paying homage to them, okay? Bacon baked potato. And then I also had some ice cream for dinner as well. So I didn't make that one. That one's just store-bought. Quote of the month, okay, which you'll see it up here, okay? Where can you see it? Here. Practice every day until someday becomes today. I said that I made this back in 2018 when I was starting my business. And I knew that when I was still working my full-time job, I knew that I was going to have to do at least one small thing every single day in order to build my business. And so I just love that quote, practice every day until someday becomes today, because at some point, you know, these past 3 years, for example, I didn't know when I was going to be able to live on my own again. And here we are. And then the word of the month is persistence, right? Persistence. You have to persevere. I just love that word. Other little thing, you've got monthly newsletter feedback. Now that we've been together now for 7+ months, would love your feedback on what are you loving from the newsletter? What would you like to see more of? And then we've got latest on the personal gram. And then, as you know it, every single time, folks, a word search. Okay, we love it. We're putting the fun back in an email newsletter. So that is June 2024 edition. If you have made it this far and you're still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. If you would like to learn more information about my business, you can visit my website at emilywisch.com. That's EMILYWISCH.com. And thanks for being here, friends. I'm gonna show you one more thing, which is this really fun Polaroid that I took of Lucy in the bedroom. Well, on our first night, we had no furniture. Also, the breaker on the AC went out, so, which again, like, it's a first world problems, but it was like 85 degrees in here, and it was just a memory made, and so we just took a little Polaroid for laying down. Okay, friends, I love you so much, and I hope that everyone is having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and yeah, okay. Bye, friends. We love you. Also, here, look, I'll give you a quick little tour, right? So, in this corner, right, like, this is my desk area. Okay, it's a little bit of a mess because we're still working. Up here, we've got the front door, right? Living room area. We've got the kitchen area. This all stuff on the wall. It's like my bike. Here, we'll like spin it around. It's like my bike. This is like my gear station here. That's my bedroom, kitchen, obviously. And you know what? It's just a nice little one bedroom, okay? And I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of it. Versions of Emily from May of 2021 and 2023 in particular are just looking back and beaming, and I'm so proud of you. I love you. Okay. Bye, friends. See you later.